Welcome all to the show with no name on Vaughan Radio, where English is exciting and interactive. And speaking of our first student, front row center, ahí la tenemos en primera fila, front row center, Chris Valrol. What a great student. We've got Medium, TG Almagro, Bea, Jaster, wow, Lingo Ninja, Anna, Luke 5, and so many more joining us right now on Vaughan's Instagram. So if you guys are tuned into this program right now on Vaughan Radio or listening via podcast, I just want to remind you that you guys can participate Monday through Friday in real time on Grupo Vaughan's Instagram, where you can watch the show and become a part of our global online classroom. And when I say global, I realized yesterday just how global we are. In fact, I've got Ers in the house from Sweden. Yesterday we had people tuning in from Latin America, all over the place. So wherever you guys are tuning in from, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. I believe, to be honest, I'm not a religious person, but I believe in fate. I believe in destiny, el destino, and I believe that brought us together. So, amigos, thanks for coming. We're here to learn, to have some fun, and most of all, to share, right? Because I hate it because it's very cheesy. It's muy cursi, but it really is so true. Sharing is caring. We say in English, if you love or care about someone, you share. And, it's about generosity. It's an idiom that has to do with generosity. I don't know if there's an exact Spanish equivalent, and sometimes there isn't. I have a lot of people contact me on social media, and they say, how do you say lo que ta? And sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what that is in Spanish. Sorry. Don't assume we know all your idioms. And then also don't assume that there's always like a direct translation. Because there are a lot of idioms that I've come across where it works as that translation in one way, but not in a different way. You see what I mean? So in one sense of the word, it works, but in another sense, it doesn't. So you would use another word. So even when you do find an idiom, an equivalent for a Spanish idiom, remember, idiom is not idioma, it's an idiomatic expression, una expresión nativa, right? So, yes, compartir es vivir. I think it's great too. Makes sense. Sharing is caring. Compartir es vivir. And I really believe that. I come from a family of generous people who are, just love sharing, and now with social media, we have the other problem, oversharing, people sharing, I just got my nails done, or I just, got my ears waxed, or whatever, Now we've gotten to the point where it's like, okay, thanks for sharing that information. Just got my bikini waxed. You're like, cool, great. In English, this is where we say, check please, la cuenta por favor. Or TMI, too much information. So crazy, we've got Argentina in the house, Santander, and all of you have one thing in common. Doesn't matter where you're tuning in from. You are curious people who have found Vaughan Radio, and you have found each other, and I think it's awesome. We're going to have a really good show today. I was taking a look at the script. I always like to look over, repasar visualmente. I always like to look over the script before I get started, just to review it. And, today I was like, exciting. I'm happy about today's show, and I hope you guys are. It seems like you are too. I've got so many of you saying morning, waving. Paco Algeciras, Paco, one of our superstar students who's always on the ball. Paco, you never miss a beat. Do you know this idiom? Hablando de expresiones nativas. To never miss a beat. No te pierdes ni una, ¿no? Piénsalo, a beat is a rhythm. No te saltes ni una, te las coges todas, right? So you never miss a beat. And this is actually a song, if you guys are fans of the Kaiser Chiefs, I'm a big fan, this British band. There's a song that says, take a look at the kids on the street, 'cause they never miss a beat, beat. Check it out. Si no la conoces, temazo, y así aprendemos esa expresión. To never miss a beat. No te pierdas nada. You catch everything. You're sharp. right? We call somebody who knows what's going on, somebody who's sharp. You guys, Vaughan radio listeners, are sharp. So we've got Zaragoza, Guadalajara. Wow, guys, really, really cool. Great to have you all on board. And I just want to remind you guys that if you can't watch us live on Instagram, which hey, we understand, that's fine. It's on Instagram TV. So go to Grupo_Vaughan and then go to Instagram TV and you'll find the show with no name. We use the acronym SWNN. So whenever you see that or you see my face, well, that's a show with no name. But you've also got them on the Vaughan Radio app and on iVox and on iTunes. So, you never have to miss a show. Speaking of never missing a beat. And speaking of shows, right now we have 3 shows that are, or 3 presenters that are producing new content every single day, and that's Richard Vaughan. You can catch him on Vaughan Radio every morning. You can catch him on TV every morning from 7:30 to 8, going through the student manual. Highly recommend that. If you're not following along, you should. And then you've got him on the radio after. He warms you up, os va calentando. And then what happens is I take over, yo cojo las riendas, I take over, I take the reins, se dice igual. And then later on this evening, we give you a little break. You've got repeats. Que, se puede aprender de repeticiones también. ¿Cómo no? Why not? Why can't you? Especially, even if you've heard it, because some people, when I have a doctor's appointment or something and we have to put on a repeat, people are like, it's a repeat. I'm like, oh, so if I tested you on all this vocabulary in the repeat, you would know it all? Crick, 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 crick. It's funny how you guys say crick, crick as the sound that crickets make. So you don't call them crickets, but you say crick, crick. It's interesting, isn't it? I love when language gets all twisted up like that, because then we have to untangle it, desenredar. And if you don't know the word untangle, it's because you have not listened to my podcast. That's another resource. So you got Richard Vaughan, you've got me on the show with no name, and then afterwards you've got Fitz every day at 6 p.m. That's Fitz, my buddy from Ireland, and he is the man. He, as I said, he trains everyone. And if you haven't heard that word, and if you still can't get enough, then you can subscribe to FYI, which is my new podcast, self-produced, autoproducido. I'm very proud of it. People are really liking it, and it's, if you want to search for it, it's on Google or Google Podcasts, iVox, iTunes. Wherever you listen to podcasts, Spotify, if you guys have Spotify, just go into your search bar and search for FYI, for your inglés, and this way you guys can hear the latest episode, my amigos. In fact, what I'm thinking right now is the last episode that came out last Friday was about barbecuing. And the episode before that was about Broadway. So you'll learn about a lot of different topics. Do you guys want to know what we're going to talk about this Friday? And remember, the podcast comes out every Friday. So cada viernes, you'll get, if you're subscribed, you'll get a notification. Oh, ya hay un nuevo capítulo de FYI or Show with No Name, whatever. You should subscribe to all of them. Richard Vaughan Live. But you know what? I decided I'm going to give you guys a little teaser right now here on Vaughan Radio of the next podcast, the upcoming podcast, which comes out this Friday. And it is on drive-in movies. Now, drive-in movies are what you call in Spanish autocine, drive-in movies. So this topic drives me crazy. Yeah, because I'm a driven person. ¿Quieres saber todos estos usos de drive? Well, you'll have to tune into the episode tomorrow. No, tomorrow's Thursday. Ya me he adelantado. Yeah, on Friday, every Friday. But again, subscribe. Show with no name. Richard Vaughan Live. No excuses. FYI, for your English. And with that, guys, you're going to learn hundreds and hundreds of words every week. And I think, as I always say with, my tagline for FYI is, you'll learn so much more than just English. Vas a aprender mucho más que inglés. So, guys, I try and personalize it. Like when when I tell you things here on the show with no name, I always try and put my personal experience into it because I think that's what makes something unique too. So I tell you guys all about my life, my childhood, mi niñez, growing up and going to drive-ins. And of course, I teach you tons of great movies. Now, you guys know about drive-ins. If you've seen Grease, if you've seen Back to the Future 3, Twister, I mean, drive-ins are a part of movies. So you see movies, but they're also in movies as well. So a couple comments. Lolis, what's up, Lolis? Good morning. She says, wine. Oh, great. Thank you. Lolis, you got it. So this week, I can't believe it, our 7th episode of FYI. And so this is them in order. Thank you, Lolis. I owe you one. Te debo una. Wine, jeans, Broadway, the internet, that was the next one, and barbecue. And in fact, this all started because I was telling you, if you listen to the internet episode of FYI, then you would know the word untangle. Because I say it. I say, we're going to untangle the World Wide Web. Me acuerdo, soy el guionista. So, guys, self-produced, new podcast, and I even have bonus content. But listen to the podcast, see what you think. And as I said, if you like it, just like the show with no name, just like Richard Vaughan Live, it takes you 1 second. Give us a little rating. Danos un 5 estrellas. And if you want to, write something. I urge you to write it in English. You know, I like this show because I learned blah, blah, blah. And that is one of the greatest ways that you can say thank you to us. Because I use every day I get thank yous from you guys. And I feel so grateful myself that you guys are so grateful. But this is another way you can thank us by rating our shows and telling people why you like them on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts, okay? Let's take a look. J.M. Hermosia says, drive-in movies, cool. Oh, yeah, and I'm going to share some personal stories as well. Anik says, I just can't get enough. I just can't get enough. I just can't seem to get enough of English. All right, so great, Anix. Well, every Friday you got a new podcast coming out. This show, the show with no name, is daily, but the other one is weekly, so once a week. And in each one, you learn anywhere from 250 to, I think last week, 500 different words and expressions in English while you're learning about different topics. So join us on FYI, amigos. Now, I'm going to give you a little teaser. To tease is vacilar, right? To say you want this? No. No. So, I'm going to give you a little teaser of this Friday's episode on drive-in movies. Here, an exclusive teaser on the show with no name. So here we go. I'm going to play it from my phone. I hope you guys can hear it okay. This is FYI, a teaser of this Friday's drive-in movie episode.
As apple pie or baseball, it was all the rage when it was invented. But then, it basically vanished into obscurity. Now it's back and better than ever. You can make out, make up, or just make a night of it. Grab your car keys and some popcorn, as we're heading to the drive-in movie on today's FYI. Welcome to For Your Info. Inglés. You got it. Hello, amigos.
There you go, folks. That is a little teaser. And I want to send a special thanks to my patrons, people who support me, because they make this podcast possible. It takes a lot of time, and thanks to their support, it's possible. So thank you to you guys. Also, thank you if you recognize that voice. He goes, inglés. That's my buddy Nacho who did that voice. And the song, which is a rock anthem, un himno. In fact, you can just ask my daughter every time the FYI song comes on, which is called Souvenir. It's by my friend Augusto Hernandez. He works at Vaughan. He used to be in the group Hamlet. So those of you guys who know Hamlet, he's a very talented musician, and he's a Vaughanite, un Vaughanita, Vaughanita. He was in the group Hamlet, and he started his own group, and he's really tremendously talented. And that's a song of his called Souvenir. Souvenir, if you want to, because my daughter, every time I put on the podcast, she's like, when she hears FYI, she's like, oh, it's the song. And then she starts rocking, literally. Rock es mecer, by the way. So it makes sense that the word rock is, what you do at a rock concert. I love it when things make sense. All right, well, guys, we've got so much to do on today's show with No Name, but I realized something. We are still on the launch pad. The launch pad is where the rocket prepares for liftoff. Liftoff, el despegue de un cohete. So, guys, buckle up. Poner esos cinturones, because we're going high up in the sky, and as we say, the sky's the limit. It's time for liftoff.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff. Liftoff. 30 minutes after the hour.
Hold on to your strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hat. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time on Vaughan Radio. It's the show with no name. On Vaughan Radio. It's the show. Let's go.
All right, amigos, we have officially lifted off. You feel that weightlessness already? Look at how small the planet Earth looks if we look back out our rear view mirror. All right, well, I got my dad on board as well, and my dad is the captain. Dad, I'm gonna turn, talking about the reins, we said las riendas, I'm going to hand them over to you because you have more experience piloting than I do. All right, so guys, now that my dad's here, we are officially off the ground. We are airborne. In fact, many of you know I have a love of aviation and all things that fly, and that comes from that guy, my dad. That's his fault. How do you say, de quién es la culpa? Whose fault is it? Right, whose, el whose este? Whose fault is that? That's his fault. He's the culprit. You say culpable, we say, es parecido, ¿no? Culprit, se escribe culprit. C-U-L-P-R-I-T. The culprit. Who's the culprit? That guy. Arrest that guy. He's the reason I'm obsessed with everything that flies. Spaceships, the sky in general. If you notice, it's not just aviation. I love stars and planets and spaceships and aliens and who knows? The unknown, el desconocido. And guys, we're going to go to a lot of crazy places today with your English. So, as I said, our first stop on today's journey, remember the word journey no es jornada de trabajo, sino aventura, viaje. Our first stop on today's journey is a little planet we call Say What? Say what? That's right, folks. That's right. It's the Say What soundbite where you're exposed to all different accents here on the show, all different kinds of situations that you're going to hear in English. And well, this is to train your ear. It's also to work on taking dictation, on being able to write down what you hear. So that said, guys, you know how this works. You're going to hear this soundbite 4 times. And each time you got to get down, or you got to write down a little bit more. Now the first time, as well as writing down as much as you can, I also want you to give me some observations that you get from it. Okay, so what kind of accent are we talking? What's going on in the scene? All that kind of stuff. Do you recognize the voice? Because as you know, many times they are famous people. All right, so guys, here is your Say What soundbite for the first time.
Encore, Monsieur Soleil.
Gomez,
Querida.
last night you were unhinged. You were like some desperate, howling demon. You frightened me. Do it again.
All right, so I hear a very breathy voice. Breathy, con una voz con mucha respiro, no? As we say in English. It's a very breathy, sexy kind of voice. Would you say? Do you guys agree with that? All right, observations. Who is it? What's going on? Where are they from? You know, what do you guys get from it? Obviously, I know what it is, but I want to hear if you guys got some info or you got something different. You know, it's always interesting when someone says Australian and somebody else says the Bronx, and I'm like, whoa, now this is interesting. Because those are 2 very different accents. But, so what do you guys, what do you get? Not just accent, what's going on in the scene. It's also really good to be able to, you know, talk about what you hear, recap. So Lola says, it seems like, remember Lola's like, it seems like an old movie. Hay que reescribir esa frase, right? It seems like an old movie. Yes, it does. I agree. Like a classic, you mean, right? J.M. Hermosilla says, scary movie. She's been frightened by someone else. So he's saying it's a scary movie. Una película de miedo. Born to Iron Man says it sounds like they're in a film. Yeah, I gotta say, it doesn't sound like, you know, an interview. And if it is an interview, it sounds pretty passionate. Whoa, things are getting really heated in this interview, right? It sounds like somebody's a little bit horny, or if not both of them are horny. You know this word? I'm horny, 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 horny tonight. I'm horny, 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 horny. Horny, cachondo es lo que dice en esa canción. Estoy cachondo. Y tú lo cantabas, ¿no? Por ahí, pues mira. Por no saber lo que cantas. I'm horny, 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 horny tonight. Con cuernos, horny. It's a weird one. Randy, that's a very British one, J.M. Hermosilla. Okay, J.M. Hermosilla says also, it rings a bell, me suena. Ludi says, I think it's from a movie, maybe The Red and the Black. I heard the name Sorrel. Okay, good. You got to listen for clues like that. Good job, Ludi. You're listening for, you know, did I hear a name? Did I hear a street or a city? Or, you know, we're looking for any kind of reference that can help guide us, you know, to further understanding what the text or whatever we're listening to. Okay, Anix, there she is. She says, sexy voice. It's a movie. A couple. They are absolutely in love. I know what the movie is and the female voice. Thank you for not spoiling it, Anix. Good job. And I believe you. You know I believe you. I'm a trusting person, you know. Okay, so Rosa's cracking up. Rosa, tú te partes, no? You're just cracking up. Oh, man. Chris, there's Chris. She says, I think it's from a film. She's a fantastic actress. Now I have to go renovate my driving movie. Sorry, my license. Oh, okay, so you can go to the drive-in. Well, and you'll see I talk about it in the episode. Drive-in movies are getting so popular again, and I'm happy about this as somebody who loves the drive-in. DL Mateo says, I think it's a movie as well. Yeah, you know, because when the sound is just perfect and there's like a little like violin in the background, it's a movie. But usually if it's an interview, you know, the sound, the speech, it's different. And that's, I want you to be able to recognize the difference between somebody being interviewed and someone who is performing, right? So, amigos, there's something crazy I got to tell you right now. I just took a look at our clock here, my timer, and I just realized we need to go to a commercial break. I can't believe it either. Unbelievable, folks. Time flies when you're having fun. That's right. Woo! All right, we're going to a quick commercial break. We'll be back in 2 minutes with tons more. So stick around, my amigos. Yeah, yeah, yeah.